Okay, Ioana, can you tell something about yourself?
Absolutely. I've been a speaker coach for 2 years now with TEDx Odense, and over 10 years, almost 11 years with different companies.
Okay.
Quite a few in healthcare and pharma before I moved to Denmark. So that's been a long time of working with people who need to present, sometimes clinical cases, sometimes just business presentations, to smaller or larger groups, and of taking notes on their experiences.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Nard?
Well, I've been working with eHealth, I think about 12, 13 years.
Okay.
I was working as a journalist in Computer World, and we were starting to work together with a medical magazine on eHealth.
Right.
And ever since I've been working mostly with that, and since 2010 I've been doing conferences, first the Health World, and the last 5 years the EHiN.
What's the nicest outcome that you have heard of after an EHiN conference?
Oh wow, that's a difficult question. Well, we had a very interesting thing happening last year, because for 1.5 years ago there was a EHiN where the Oslo Commune had presented a movie on Tim, which was a citizen in Oslo, and how he in the future was going to be met with digital services. And in the room there was also the Cancer Association, and at the EHiN they decided together to make for the next year a movie about Tim who was becoming ill, and how the digital services can support him and his family when he is ill. And this was a direct result of the one EHiN, and they took it and presented it at the next EHiN. And this is what I hope EHiN will be. It will be a cyclist where every year new things shows up, and which have connected what we have been doing before and going slowly into the future.
Fantastic. That's a really nice example.
It was a nice thing, yeah, sure.
So Nard, one thing I always want to know when I work with speakers is a bit about the context. Tell me a bit about EHiN and who the people of EHiN are.
EHiN, yeah, EHiN is from EHelse in Norge, which is eHealth in Norway. So it is a conference on digital health. And last year we had our 5-year celebration. Yoo-hoo!
Congratulations!
It was pretty good,
yeah.
yes. And there were 1,400 people, so it's been growing pretty big. And we see that eHealth is a very important area, which is evolving very quickly. Though it's been around for a long time, but it's been a little bit in the corner, and it's very quickly moving into the center of a lot of things happening. The main problem with digital health is that we have a tech revolution which is moving very, very quickly. And then we have a healthcare public sector which has to be very cautious and moving very slowly. And how can we use the technology as quick as possible so it's get better quality healthcare, better quality for the patients, better quality for the clinicians working there, better outcome for the tax money, better follow-up for your people with long-term diseases, and so on and so on.
But safely.
But safely in a right way, because normally it takes a long time before you can introduce something in healthcare. But if you say, like with a medicine, it might take 7 or 10 years before you can introduce it. Well, 10 years ago we got the iPhone. We cannot wait 10 years before we can use it. So you have to use it much quicker. And one thing the EHiN is about, bringing the people together from the industry, from the tech revolution, bringing people from the healthcare sector together to discuss openly what are the possibilities, what are the problems, which way we can go not to make mistakes. And then there's one more additional good important point, and that is we need to put politicians in, because if you don't change the rules or don't change the payment systems, it's not going to work. So this is really what EHiN is about, to bring together the tech revolution, the healthcare, the patients, the clinicians, and the politicians together to discuss how the future of health should be.
So concretely then, in the audience, in a room, for example, in a session, you would have politicians, maybe hospital managers, and then tech developers or company representatives, tech company representatives. Okay.
That's very much the idea we try to get in all the sessions. So if you miss out on one of these areas, the solutions will probably be wrong. That does not mean if you include all three, it will necessarily be the right way to do it, but if you miss out on one of them, it will probably go wrong somewhere.
Okay. So then the speakers will be representatives from all three parts?
Not in every session. We
No.
try to, but it's not possible. But we'll be under conference, we have these three areas. So if you don't have a kind of idea of how you should, in a political way, develop this, what it means for your privacy, for your security, for society, it's not really, maybe not be at EHiN. It is really it has to be the dimension too, in a way. But of course you cannot have that in every talk, but the talks together should give an impression of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tell me a bit more about your speakers. Who are they in their professional lives?
So that's a difficult question because we have like 150 speakers at EHiN, approximately. So they are very different in profiles. We have some international top speakers who are in plenum and talk with everybody. We have people like the health minister and representatives of a lot of big organizations like the Cancer Organization or the Directorate of eHealth or the Nurse Health Network and all these. And then we have also a lot of people from smaller projects which are working out in the country, working with research and trying to show a little bit very important area, because digital health is actually an ecosystem. If we can build an ecosystem with small birds and big animals and all together, that's what we actually should do, and everybody should feel that they are a part of the big ecosystem and have an as important role as the other one. You can think big lines in the center of Oslo, and then if it comes to outside province, it's not working there. So it's very important that, yes.
So then you try to have representation from many different areas, higher level, lower level, everybody.
Yes,
in the country,
different.
Like
We've got very different focus areas. And we also speak both English and Norwegian. So even though this movie is in English, because we want to make it accessible for everybody, there will be a lot of content in Norwegian too.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
Yeah.
But when they prepare, the principles are the same, whether it's in English or Norwegian. So that should be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'd like to hear a bit about the audience. What would be useful for speakers and for me as a speaker coach to know about them?
The audience of EHiN, like last year we had 1,400 people, and we can see from the evaluation that they really know a lot about e-health. So they know pretty much about what e-health is about, and they are interested to learn more, to both for their working area and for their personal development, to get more input and network with people around it. So for our speakers it will be important to remember that those who are listening to them probably know quite a lot about what the context is, and they really want to go in.
So we don't have to start from ABC.
They don't have to start from ABC, but you can wrap it up in a few sentences to bring the audience very quickly there. But you don't have to tell in every presentation that we have a problem because we're getting older, we're getting more chronic diseases, we have less money, we don't have enough people
These
to
things
do.
everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Or you can do it just in one sentence and say, this is what we all know is. So we know that there are people coming from a lot of different areas. We have a lot of people from the industry, we've got a lot of people from the public sector, from the healthcare sector, some clinicians, a lot of people working with ICT in the healthcare. We have a lot of researchers, we have a lot of people from municipalities working in the home care, and we see people coming from pharmacy getting into, people working as personalized medicine. And we see startups, a growing group of startups getting into what we can do with healthcare, and that's a very exciting area.
And how they can help the sector move forward.
How they can take new ideas into healthcare, because that's a very difficult step, as healthcare is very slow in adapting new things. So, but we see that's evolving in Norway too, and that's a very exciting group.
One of my favorite writers, Ernesto Sabato, has this book where he says, it's not the general facts that impress us, it's the details.
It's the details.
Would that be true for the EHiN audience as well?
Well, I think a lot of people know that technology can help healthcare, as it does in a lot of other areas.
The general fact.
Yes, but they really want to know how can this technology help me in my situation, and how can we organize the transmission from one part of where we are now into an area where we use this technology, because its transformation is very difficult, and a lot of projects, a lot of implementations, they go wrong because people know that they want the technology and they know where they want to have it, but they don't know how to use it, how to implement it, how really to get people engaged in it. So I think we see more and more people want to know more about the value. How have you been doing that, and how have you been managing to make it in a way that it worked, and how can we learn from that to put it in our hospital, in our home care organization, in wherever we use it at the same way.